We're traveling specifically to Nicaragua, so I bring teams down once a month, and we're using fitness to build relationships with people in the community. So I bring teams of people down from the United States for a week-long mission trip every month. We're going to spend time in the community, so we want to get into the community and experience the culture and see how can we provide something for them that's going to be beneficial. When I started coming to Nicaragua, I realized how different my food options were. And the biggest challenge was, trying to work out in the gym and just feeling horrible. Like I would get here and I would be super lethargic. The weights felt heavy. I had no stamina. I'm looked to as like nobody else has heard of CrossFit. I've got to do well, but I was just struggling so bad. And then I would go home. I'd feel bad for 3 or 4 days, and then I'd be back to normal again. And so that went on for, gosh, probably a year and a half. It was tough to try to manage through that. Go from when you're eating exactly, you have access to everything that you're comfortable with, and you come here and it's okay, we're having, tortillas, we're having beans and rice, we're having, fried plantains, and this is, these are our options. So made the choices pretty difficult. The reason that I thought it has to be nutrition was I've been doing it a year and a half. It was like my body would have adjusted by now. If it was gonna get better, it would have gotten better by now. And so I've got to start trying to pinpoint some things that'll make me better. And so I was like, I'm gonna start with the food. It's the easiest way to start. Got 3 egg whites here. Put those on here. Got 1 cup of flapjack protein pancakes. So I'm gonna put some of my reduced fat peanut butter on those. Scales over here. Oh, 51. That's close. They don't have flapjack pancakes here in Nicaragua, so I bring those from home, and then she knows how much to make, so she measures that out for me. She knows with the eggs to use the spray instead of oil, and so it's been difficult at times, but it certainly helps having someone cook for you to do that. So she's been a huge help in doing that. So that makes it a lot simpler. Definitely different than the Nicaraguan ways. They're going to eat a lot of rice, a lot of tortillas, a lot of oil, and they cook everything in oil. So everything's fried, everything with oil. And so bringing the spray helps keep my fat where I need to be, but still be able to enjoy a lot of the same kinds of food. So the plantains and the things that they typically would fry in a lot of oil, she will make those separately for me. Or when the team comes, it's just easier sometimes for her just to use the spray. Everything here is seasonal. They're eating whatever is in season. So trying to get, fiber is the biggest challenge. So trying to get vegetables in. Certain fruits are only available certain times of the year. Certain vegetables are only available certain times of the year. And so I don't have that, down to see, to know what's coming next. So what's going to be available when I go back next month. So this is just in a grocery store. So there's a lot of produce available. We buy a lot of what we get in like a farmer's market where just people bring those things in from different villages and those kinds of things. So that's just a cool way to get a lot of variety and a lot of different types of fresh vegetables and fruits that way. The meat, you have to be very careful with the meat. So we buy the meat in the grocery store. The meat in the farmer's market's all just, it's not refrigerated. It's just kind of hanging out, so we use the meat from the grocery store because it's been refrigerated and taken care of, and so it's a much safer option for us and for the teams.
Levantando el dedo gordo. Bajamos de nuevo.
So we're using fitness right now to build these relationships, and while we haven't been able to become an affiliate yet, that's certainly part of what we want to do. As we get resources to be able to do that. It's not something that we have access to currently, but it's definitely in what we see as an opportunity for the future. And so we're excited that people are coming and they're working out and they're moving and becoming healthier. And that's, for us, is the most important thing as we try to build a relationship. So we got rice. I'll do some fried plantain chips. So there's some entries in my Fitness Pal for fried plantain chips. So I just use what's in there. I'm sure it's not 100% accurate, but it's as accurate as you can get in a third world country, I think. Just try to stay on track. Usually chicken, but today we're having some beef. And then it's tough getting fiber in here because there aren't a lot of vegetables. So got some shredded cabbage today, so trying to get that fiber in as well. That's the hardest part, even more than managing the macros, is trying to get fiber in. So there is no label, and so we're trying to manage that the best we can. There is on like bread and some things like that. It's a different brand, but a lot of those brands are still built into the trackers that we're using to keep up with the macros. So yeah, it's a little bit of guesswork, but still maintaining some amount of structure the best we can it's been allowed me to keep those energy levels where I need to be to do that. So still, so far so good. Been at it for a year, almost a year and a half, and so it's working. Working with WAG has given me energy when I'm here. I don't sleep as well. It's a super busy time, basically on 24 hours a day, because you're taking care of teams and managing through that. So knowing that you're fueling your body correctly, that you feel good when you're working out in the gym, takes a huge stress off of those other things. It doesn't impact those things as much. And then this is just a personal thing. I just have more confidence. I don't feel embarrassed about they're not going to believe what I say because I'm a little chunky, or whatever. It just does something for me mentally that gives me more confidence. So we're going street tacos tonight. This is Maritza, maybe the best taco maker in all the world. This is one of our favorite places to eat. So we've got corn tortillas with some shredded chicken inside. She drops it in the fryer over here. And then we have the options for some cabbage, pico de gallo, ketchup, and cream sauce is the way that they make it. So what I normally do is the tacos, I just put the ingredients in separate when I track. So corn tortilla, the chicken, and put some fat in for the oil, and then I get the cabbage and the pico de gallo on the side. So it's pretty easy to track, even though we're out here in the streets of Nicaragua. So good food. That's a masterpiece right there. Where there is opportunity to weigh it, measure it, and be exact, then I don't vary by a gram. I go as pinpoint as I can, and then the rest of the time it allows for me to guess on some things like these and still get to enjoy the best restaurant in Nicaragua and still stay on track. When we're educating the people here about nutrition, they don't have access to a food scale. Protein meat is incredibly expensive here. That part is tough for them, and so we're just trying to teach them like what your plate should look like. Have a palm of your hand of protein, and this much of your try to, instead of having the whole plate full of rice, let's try to take it down to a fourth of a plate full of rice and just start kind of tracking a little bit, at least keeping some eye on it. This is Alvaro. Alvaro has lost 40 libras. 30 pounds since he started at Get Strong Fitness. And so he's been tracking his macros on his plate, and he's been sharing it with the other people, eating this much meat, this much rice, and so he's just cut down his portions and probably the hardest working guy in the gym, and killing it, right? Crushing it. As they see results and their bodies start to change, or they get their first pull-up or whatever it is that they accomplish, then they're excited to be in the gym. And if they're in the gym, then we have opportunity to build a relationship with them. And if we can build a relationship with them, then we have opportunity to help them in their physical journey, but also in their spiritual journey, and helping them, equip them to be better dads, better moms, husbands, fathers, those kinds of things.